I think it's time and we should get started. I welcome you all, and I would like to welcome the hosts for the day, Komal and Shirley. Welcome, Komal and Shirley, and over to you.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this special storytelling session. Do you all know storytelling is one of the most oldest and the powerful ways we connect as humans? And in today, the journey that we'll go through the tales, it'll make you laugh, wonder, reflect, and also make you remember some part of yourself you would have forgotten. So, whether you're here to listen, learn, or simply let your mind wander, there's something magical waiting for all of you.
Komal, I've always admired how teachers tell stories with so much care, curiosity, and heart. Isn't it a privilege to be in a room full of storytellers who breathe life into old tales? Today's our
Absolutely.
final session, and it's your moment to shine. Share boldly, listen kindly, and let's celebrate the stories we've shaped together. And while it may be the last day of our session, this isn't the end. This is just the beginning. We have one small request. Before we begin, there's nothing better than an audience that's truly present. If it's possible, we'd love for you to keep your cameras on so our storytellers can connect with you more deeply as they share. And what better way to open this storytelling event than with a fictional tale that feels like a gentle push towards freedom? Let's welcome Ranjani Shankar and Sadiksha as they present Jonathan Livingston Seagull.
Good evening, everyone. You are a disgrace. Your behavior is irresponsible and shameful. You are outcast. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, don't ever dare return. The elders' words pierce through my being like arrows, not because they were uttered by an enemy, but because these were uttered by my own flock. The pain of isolation stung day and night, night and day. What was my transgression, you ask? Let me take you back in time. Ever since I learned to hop around as a fledgling, I was drawn to flight. Flight? Not the kind we seagulls are used to. Flying from shore to food and back again. The flock found my passion weird. Even my parents wouldn't understand. Why can't you just be like the others? My mother complained. All this flying is good, but you can't eat a glide. My father ridiculed. It was hard to explain. How does one explain the joy of the wind's whisper, this warm embrace of the sun's rays, and the beckoning of the opaline clouds? I fly just for the love of it, practicing aerobatic moves, the loop, the inverted spin, the pinwheel, and the slow roll, all to perfection. Moves no other gull ever dared try. Dancing with the wind, rising higher and higher until the air becomes thin and the earth becomes a distant dream. Then, suddenly, like lightning, diving down, wings tucked, heart pounding, defying all rules of gravity that the flock lives by. Speed, speed thrills me. On one such exhilarating days, I reached a terminal velocity. Oh, what Joy. Just when I returned to share my thrill with the flock, I was summoned by the council, not to be praised, but to be reprimanded. Stand to center, the elder ordered. Stand to center is how our leaders are chosen. The elder's voice boomed again. Stand to center for shame. I felt humiliated, small. What was my fault? I rebelled. You accuse me of being irresponsible? I have found a purpose and meaning for my life and our lives. If only you could give me one chance, I will show you what I have found. I pleaded. The flock covered their ears and turned their backs upon me. A chorus arose. The brotherhood is broken! The brotherhood is broken! And they banished me. Did I feel bad? Yes. Did I feel defeated? Not at all. In solitude, I found freedom. Freedom to be, freedom to sing. ఎవరూకే కవిని రాకపోయినా సరే ఒకడవే పదవోయ్ ఎవరూకే కవిని రాకపోయినా సరే ఒకడవే పదవోయ్ I tasted freedom, freedom from the bondage of conditioning.
I flew, not just higher, but beyond the sky, beyond the world I knew. Beside me were two radiant seagulls, their feathers like starlight. As we rose together, I thought, so this must be heaven. But this wasn't the resting place I had imagined it to be. The gulls here, they didn't retire. They practiced. Their flying wasn't fast. It was flawless, graceful, precise. Still, something kept bothering me. If this was heaven, why did I still feel limits? Why couldn't I fly endlessly faster? Why did I feel held back? One evening, while I was pondering upon these questions, I saw the elder gull, Chiang. I went up to him. Chiang, this world isn't heaven at all, is it? He smiled. Heaven is not a place, and it is not a time. Heaven is being perfect. He explained to me that flying isn't about wings, it's about knowing. Perfect speed, my son, is being there. To fly as fast as thought, begin by knowing you have already arrived. Well, I didn't understand this at first, but I practiced and then I failed. But I practiced again until one day I just knew I am a perfect unlimited gull. And suddenly, ever so suddenly, I vanished from where I stood and appeared onto a beach with twin suns overhead. My heart soared with joy. It works. And then I saw Chiang was there. Calm as ever, he said. It always works when you know what you're doing. He taught me more. Not just about flying, but about love, kindness, and the courage to serve. And then one day, he began to glow so brightly I could barely look at him anymore. With his final smile, he whispered, "Keep working on love." Even after all I had learned, my heart, it drifted back to the world I had left behind, to the gulls still bound by fear and hunger. Maybe, just maybe, there was one out there ready to learn. I told my friend Sullivan about this. "They are 1,000 miles away from here, and you want to go back? Show them heaven from where they are? Leave me?" Oh, Sullivan, our friendship doesn't depend on space and time. In the middle of here and now, we will definitely meet again. And with that, I turned my wings towards the earth, not to prove anything, but to teach, to serve, and to love.
What a beautiful story by both the storytellers. We have a little ritual of just rubbing our hands. If you just love the story, I would request the audience. Yes, Ranjani ji and Sudiksha, how was your experience in the storytelling session? Would you share, please?
It has been wonderful, wonderful. I dread the course would stop sometime soon. I don't want it to stop at all. We have learned a lot. Thanks, Ankit, and thanks to the entire team, Jemima, Swati, and all our friends here who would be narrating more stories. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was amazing. All the nervousness suddenly disappeared when Ranjani ji started. I was just looking at her and she was flawless. I'd like to thank her. She kept pushing me. Ankit, whom I messaged in the last moment, like, "Hey, do you think I can do it?" And he was like, "Of course you can." Jemima and Swati, both of them, either of them always available, and sometimes both of them in the session just to listen to us. And cannot forget Shipra ji, who chose the story for us. So a big thanks to her. And today being Father's Day, I would like to dedicate my performance to my dad. Wherever he is, I'm sure he's proud of me. And my grandfather, who brought me up with a lot of storytelling. I'm sure if he had heard me, he would say, like he always used to say, "Adike nan heladu, ja jane." So yeah, thank you everyone. And to the lovely people who have joined, thanks to all of you. And to Pranav and Nishant who have joined to support me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjani and Sudiksha, and both of the performers are really special. And I'm also acknowledging the third performer who couldn't make it today owing to her medical issues, Shipraji, who worked on this story for 2 weeks but couldn't make it here today. Really want to thank both Ranjani and Sudiksha. Ranjani for being a performer as well as a mentor to Sudiksha, and Sudiksha for trying this out because Sudiksha did miss a couple of sessions and then was feeling like, should I perform or should I just come the next course and just and then perform? And I think you took the right call by going ahead and performing this time. What we learn through one performance is something perhaps we learn in sessions in 6 months, 3 months. So, so glad to see you both. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
So, up next, we have a very beautiful Japanese folktale, Flying Farmer of Konashima, just reimagine through the lens of Andhra Pradesh. I am very curious to know how story is going to come out by our storytellers Sri Lekha and Lakshmi. Over to you.
Thank you. ఏరువాక సాగారో రన్నో చిన్నన్న నీ కష్టమంతా తీరునురో రన్నో చిన్నన్న ఏరువాక సాగారో రన్నో చిన్నన్న నీ కష్టమంతా తీరునురో రన్నో చిన్నన్న అయ్య బాబోయ్ నా కట్టాలు ఎక్కడ తీరుతాయి అన్ని పాటలే గాని నేనేంటి నా ఇల్లేంటి. This was Ramaya, who was living in Konasima in Narsapuram village. He had a small thatched hut waiting to fall down, overlooking a small pond, beyond which was a rich, wet paddy field. Every day, Ramaya would wait for the ducks to come. He would get one of them for dinner. That was his only source of living. One night, after having his dinner, he was chewing pan. Oh, what if I get all the ducks on one day instead of getting one? I can go to Rajamandri market and sell them. I can become rich. I can buy Venkanna's plot. I can buy Somana's plot. I can also cultivate paddy. With this idea, Ramaya retires for the night. The following morning, he wakes up early. He lays a trap in the pond, waiting for the ducks. Where are the ducks? Where are the ducks? And then, after a while, he saw beka, 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 a whole flock of ducks. Ramaya was thrilled to see them. భలే భలే బోలెడు బాతులు, ఎన్ని బాతులు, డబ్బులే డబ్బులు, డబ్బులే డబ్బులు. Just then, he heard a gush of wind. Whoosh! Whoosh!
They all flew into the sky, carrying Ramaya along with them. Maya was shocked. He couldn't figure out what was happening to him. అయ్యో అమ్మో ఏంటవుతుంది, ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నా, ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నా? He started yelling in confusion. They flew over the coconut groves, over the canals, over the towns and the temples. The ducks flying, Ramaya hanging, and his lungi fluttering in. They soar high over River Godavari and the distant hills. Finally, they reached Antarve. It's a place where River Godavari meets Bay of Bengal. As they cross the tall five-tiered temple tower of the Lion God, Lord Narasimha, Ramaya quickly let go of his robe and caught the tip of the temple spire. He looked down, trembled. అయ్యో అమ్మా, గోపురం పైకి వచ్చేసాను, పడిపోతాను, పట్టుకోండి, పట్టుకోండి. He started desperately shouting for help. Soon, crowd gathered. అరే ఎవడ్రా వీడు, అరే రే పైకి ఎలా వచ్చేసాడు, ఓహో బాతులు పట్టుకెళ్తున్నాయి ఒక్కడిని, అతనే ఇతను, ఓ పట్టుకుందాం, let's save him. So some were amazed, some were confused. A few of them ran into the temple and brought a carpet. They spread the carpet wide and shouted up to him, "Jump, man, jump! We will catch you. Don't worry. We will catch you. Jump, jump." Ramaya was shivering with fear. His teeth were chattering like the sticks on the drums. He had no choice. Closed his eyes. Chunk! Thud! He landed right in the middle of the carpet, but so heavily that the men holding it bumped their heads. Dum, dum, dum. As the last dum echoed, Ramaya opened his eyes. He was safe. He was lying in his own bed, in his own town, in his own house. Yes, this had all been a dream. But the dream felt so real to Ramaya that he never trapped ducks again in his life. The ducks still came to his fields, safe, free, and happy.
Ada Kanchiki.
Manaminti.
This is how stories that are narrated in Telugu always end. Thank you.
That was amazing. I think the reaction from the audience says it all. You can read the chat box later. And also, I was personally waiting for this performance. I really want to know what made you choose this story.
Yeah. Yes, I remember to have read it in the chat. Yes, Shirley.
The story was actually sent to me by Lakshmi. This is a Japanese folk tale. Both of us sat and we converted this to Andhra. Something to do with the local flavor. So that's how we went about.
And it was absolutely beautiful. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Thank you.
I think Lakshmi, members of your family are here. Something you want to say or something you want to listen from them?
Yeah, I really want to thank them all because, like you were sharing, I was looking for an opportunity to escape from today's performance because I'd been feeling so, nervous. And this was the first time, although your confidence in your processes and in your uh, way of teaching, you really showed a lot of confidence in all of us. I think it was because you had your conviction in your own processes, and you, as a fantastic human being, could really create that confidence in us also. But then, since we are the work in the progress, not completely. So I had this thing yesterday when there was something going on in my house. I thought I should take the opportunity, and there was a huge electricity cut for quite some time. But then my husband, you would not believe, got the inverter installed yesterday night so that I would do this performance. So that something really touched me. And I'm not the kinds who would otherwise generally express these things to him. This platform and all the people here, I think the energy here is helping me to say so. Thank you, Meghna. Meghna had introduced me to this workshop and all the group members. I had never been very expressive in the chat or anything, but then whenever I read the chat, I always or talk to mentors and all. I felt that, it's a wonderful feeling of belongingness to the beautiful community we are all. I really look forward to doing more of this work with all your encouragement. Thank you, Sri Lekha Garu. But for you, I I wouldn't have done this performance at all. You
This
really
is
helped me bring.
teamwork, Andi, ante, nothing more. Teamwork.
Anything you want to say, Srilekha?
First and foremost, thanks to my dear Guru Ankit. My parents are there online. My brother is there. My husband and daughter, without which I am nothing. My family, my colleagues, and You know, everyone, universe always comes to help you when you ask. And this time, without asking, universe has helped me. I feel a lot relieved now. Jemima, no more butterflies. All sold in Rajmundry market, for sure. Father's Day, I dedicated to my father.
Thank you so much, Srilekha and Lakshmi, and both of the learners and performers you saw are very special to us. Srilekha actually comes from a family of storytellers where one of her, grandparent was one of the first storytellers coming from the region. Srilekha also transitioned into a career of teaching eventually, initially working in other roles, and finally now getting used to the role of a teacher, a history teacher, if I'm right. Um, and I met her students one day, and I was trying to get some gossip about her, which was very interesting. um, and one thing really special about Lakshmi ji is I think she's retired as a teacher after a long career, and now she looks forward to many, many more decades of volunteering where she can go to communities and tell stories just like this and make many more communities just like this. So we really look forward to that, Srilekha and Lakshmi, and thank you for this work. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Our next performer is going to relive a memory from her childhood. And what makes it amazing is that we get to be a part of it. Our next storyteller is Vinanti, who will be bringing a personal tale to life.
Thank you, Shirley. I hope I'm audible to everyone. ये कहानी उस समय की है जब मैं केवल 8 साल की थी और मेरी गर्मियों की छुट्टी थी। और मैं तो जा रही थी मेरे नानी के घर। आप लोग को पता है मेरे नानी का घर यहाँ से 1000 किलोमीटर दूर है। और हर समय की तरह इस समय भी मेरे पापा उसी रेलवे की लंबी सी लाइन में खड़े होके तत्काल टिकट खरीद रहे थे। बट इस बार वो घर आके बोले, नहीं खड़े रहना मुझे उस लाइन में, नहीं चाहिए मुझे तत्काल की वो टिकट, इस बार हम गाड़ी से जाएंगे, ठीक है? ये सुन के तो मानो मेरी खुशी का ठिकाना ही नहीं रहा। आपको पता है मेरी मम्मी, मेरे पापा, मेरा भाई, मेरी मम्मी की बहन, उनके पति, उनका बेटा, उनकी बेटी और मैं, हम 8 लोग इस बार गाड़ी से जाने वाले थे। मेरी तो रातों की नींद सी उड़ गई थी। हम सब ने हमारी पैकिंग शुरू कर ली और मैंने तो मेरी फेवरेट रजाई भी ले ली और खिलौने भी ले लिए। जिस दिन जाने का समय आया उस दिन सुबह सुबह मेरी मम्मी और मासी गरम गरम नाश्ता बना रहे थे। हम सब ने हमारा लगेज गाड़ी में रखा और हम सब गाड़ी में बैठ गए। हम कभी आगे जाते, कभी पीछे जाते। ए, अब मेरी बारी है ना आगे बैठने की, तू पीछे आ चल। कभी हम नीचे उतरते, कभी ऊपर चढ़ जाते। जब भी नींद आती मैं तो बस अपनी आंखें बंद करके अपनी फेवरेट रजाई ओढ़कर सो जाती और जैसे ही आंख खुलता मैं तो नया जगह पहुंच जाती। जब भी भूख लगती वही टिफिन का ठंडा नाश्ता खाती, क्योंकि इस बार वो रेलवे के अंकल थोड़ी है बोलने के लिए 20 का दो, 20 का दो, 20 का दो। आप लोग को समोसा चाहिए क्या? चाहिए, चाहिए। ये बोल बोल कर सुबह से दोपहर हो गई। फिर आपको पता है पता नहीं क्यों मेरे गाड़ी से बहुत आवाजें आ रही थी और आवाजें रुक ही नहीं रही थी, बस बढ़ती ही जा रही थी। फिर जब आवाज रुकी हमारी गाड़ी भी रुक गई। फिर हाँ, हम नीचे उतर गए देखने के लिए कि क्या हुआ मेरे गाड़ी को। फिर हमने देखा कि हम तो ऐसे गांव में आ गए थे जहां मीलों मील तक कुछ नहीं था, मकानिक भी नहीं। फिर ना वहां पे एक बहुत बड़ा पेड़ था। मैं और मेरे भाई बहन दौड़ दौड़ के उस पेड़ के पास गए। हमने कभी ईंटों से खेला, कभी पत्थरों से, और कभी तो ए, एक दूसरे के बस बाल नोच लिए। वहां ना एक छोटी सी दुकान भी थी जहां पे हम बार बार जाके टॉफियां खरीदते। पर इसमें तो शाम सी निकल गई। फिर मैंने देखा मेरी मम्मी पापा के चेहरे में एक अलग सा शिकन था, जैसे डर का शिकन मानो। फिर हमें मालूम पड़ा कि शायद हमें ये गाड़ी यही छोड़नी पड़ेगी, हम इसे आगे नहीं ले जा पाएंगे। पर मैं कैसे जाऊं फिर मेरे नानी के घर? यही सोचते सोचते मुझे ना दूर में कुछ दिखाई दिया। एक छोटी सी ट्रक आ रही है। वो ट्रक को देखते ही मैं और मेरे भाई बहन दौड़ पड़े और बोले, अंकल रोकिए, रोकिए, मुझे मेरे नानी के घर जाना है। जैसे ही वो ट्रक रुकी, वो ट्रक वाले अंकल ने हमें कहा कि वो हमें नजदीकी रेलवे स्टेशन छोड़ आएंगे। जैसे ही दरवाजा खुला, मैं, मेरी मम्मी, मेरे पापा, मेरा भाई, मेरी मम्मी की बहन, उनके पति, उनका बेटा और उनकी बेटी, हम सब जाके ट्रक में बैठ गए। जैसे ही हमारा सफर शुरू हुआ, हमें ना एक अलग सी महक आ रही थी। फिर हमें मालूम पड़ा उस ट्रक में ना फिश ले जाया जाता है। और लो, आज हमें ले जाया जा रहा है। ऐसे तैसे करके हम रेलवे स्टेशन पहुंच गए। पर आप लोग को पता है, हम तो वही आ गए जहां से हमने शुरू किया था। आप लोग को याद है, मेरे पापा ने कहा था, नहीं खड़े रहूंगा मैं उस रेलवे लाइन में, इस बार गाड़ी से जाएंगे। मेरे पापा तो फिर से उसी रेलवे लाइन में खड़े हो गए टिकट लेने वापस। पर हमारे पास तो कंफर्म टिकट ही नहीं थी। हम 8 लोग हमारा 16 सामान लेके गाड़ी में चढ़ गए, और हम बच्चे जाके लगेज के ऊपर बैठ गए। फिर ना पूरा एक दिन लगा। एक दिन के बाद मैं पहुंची मेरे नानी के घर। और वहां वहां खड़ी थी मेरी नानी और बोली, बच्चों, बिसी बिसी इडली रेडी दे। मुझे ना अब जाना पड़ेगा इडली खाने। तो मैं आप लोगों से बाद में बात करती हूँ, ठीक है? बाय। किड्स टाइम।
Thank you, Vinanti, for such a beautiful story. Would you like to share your journey about the storytelling?
Um, I think this is the exact community or the exact place that I think I'd longed for. I think I was talking to Ankit sir also the other day. That last 3, 4 months that we've been here, I think I found a purpose. I found a purpose of what I want to do. From the last 1 month that we are into these events now, everything, every day when I wake up, I know what I have to do. It's not only going to work and coming back. There are so many people that I have to talk to. I have to revise, say something or the other, or रात को बैठ के poster बनाओ, ये करो. But I think this is the exact thing that interests me. So I am glad that I got an opportunity to be a part of this, and obviously a very, very big thank to Ankit sir, Jemima, Swati, Sanskruti, and obviously all my amazing classmates. And I never knew I will be back to class again, but with people who are from such different walks of life, and they've taught me so much beyond all of these things. So I just want to say a very big thank you. And I think from tomorrow I'll miss calling everyone and talking and practicing. Yes.
I totally agree with you that you're going to miss it some. So, our next story is a curious tale that sets in the land so dark. Even reason loses its way.
presenting Andher Nagari Chaupat Raja in an expressive word by Sarvika. Let's have Sarvika.
अंधेर नगरी चौपट राजा टके शेर भाजी टके शेर खाजा अंधेर नगरी चौपट राजा टके शेर भाजी टके शेर खाजा। यही गाना सुनते सुनते एक गुरु और एक शिष्य एक ऐसी नगरी में पहुंचे जहां हर चीज 1 टके यानी 1 रुपए की थी। 1 किलो फल 1 टका, 1 किलो सब्जी 1 टका, 1 किलो सोना भी 1 टका। और यह देखकर शिष्य बड़ा खुश हुआ और बोला, गुरुजी, अब से तो मैं यहीं रहूंगा। क्या बढ़िया नगरी है ये। यह सुनकर गुरुजी बोले, वत्स, ये कोई ऐसी वैसी नगरी नहीं है। ये एक अंधेर नगरी है जहां गधे और घोड़े यानी एक बुद्धिमान और मूर्ख में कोई फर्क नहीं है। और यहाँ का राजा, वो तो जैसे राजा होते हैं वैसा ही है। और अगर वो बोले कि दिन रात है और रात दिन, तो वो भी मानना पड़ेगा। मैं तो नहीं रहूंगा ऐसी नगरी में, तुम भी मत रहना। मगर शिष्य ने गुरु की बात नहीं सुनी, तो गुरु जी उसको छोड़ के चले गए और शिष्य वहीं रह गया। अगले दिन शिष्य उठा और गया नाश्ता करने, तो उसने देखा पराठा 1 टका, पूरी 1 टका और बिरयानी भी 1 टका। तो वो बोला, जब सब 1 टके का है तो मैं पूरी और पराठा क्यों खाऊं। मैं तो अब से बिरयानी ही खाऊंगा। खाना खाते खाते उसको थोड़ी प्यास लगी, तो उसने देखा पानी और शरबत दोनों 1 टका। तो उसने तब से पानी पीना ही छोड़ दिया और सिर्फ शरबत पीने लगा, क्योंकि शरबत भी 1 टके का था और पानी भी। और ऐसे ही मजे से वो शिष्य अपनी जिंदगी जी रहा था उस नगरी में। मगर एक दिन वहां एक तूफान आया और एक दीवार गिर गई एक बकरी पे, और वो बकरी चल बसी। जिसकी वो बकरी थी, वो उसका इकलौता कमाने का जरिया था। तो वो गया राजा के पास न्याय मांगने और सुनाई अपनी कहानी। सुनकर राजा ने बोला, मृत्यु मृत्यु हुई है तो मृत्यु का जवाब मृत्यु से ही दिया जाएगा। बुलाओ उसको जिसकी दीवार गिरी थी, हम उसको फांसी की सजा देंगे। तो आया वो बेचारा जिसकी दीवार गिरी थी और बोला, राजा जी, मेरी कोई गलती नहीं है। गलती तो उस मिस्त्री की है जिसने दीवार बनाई थी। आप उसको फांसी पे चढ़ाइए, मुझे नहीं। राजा ने बोला, बुलाओ मिस्त्री को जिसने दीवार बनाई थी। आया मिस्त्री और बोला, राजा जी, मेरी कोई गलती नहीं है। मैंने तो बस दीवार बनाई थी। गलती तो मसाले वाले की है जिसने मसाला बनाया था, ठीक से नहीं बनाया होगा। आप उसको फांसी पे चढ़ाइए। राजा बोला, हाँ ये भी सही है, बुलाओ मसाले वाले को। तो आया मसाला वाला और बोला, हाँ राजा जी, शायद गलती मेरी ही है। मैंने पहली बार मसाला बनाया ना, तो थोड़ी गलती हो गई। पर आप मुझे फांसी पे ना चढ़ाए, कोई भी सजा दे दीजिए। मैं अगली बार ऐसी गलती नहीं करूंगा। मगर वो राजा, उसने तो ठान लिया था कि फांसी पे कोई तो चढ़ेगा और किसी की तो मृत्यु होगी। तो वो नहीं माना और डाल दिया गया फंदा बेचारे मसाले वाले पे। मगर वो फंदा थोड़ा ढीला था, ठीक से बैठा नहीं, तो नहीं चढ़ा पाए उसको फांसी पे। मगर राजा ने तो सोच लिया था ना कोई तो आज मरेगा। तो राजा ने बोला, जाओ पूरी नगरी में और ढूंढो ऐसे इंसान को जिसके गले में ये फंदा ठीक से बैठे, हम उसको फांसी पे चढ़ाएंगे। तो गए सब लोग ढूंढने कि किसके गले में फांसी का फंदा ठीक से बैठेगा। और हमारा बेचारा शिष्य, देखो उसकी किस्मत, उसके गले में फंदा ठीक से बैठा और ये आए सब उसको फांसी पे चढ़ाने। उसके गले में फंदा डला था और वो फांसी पे चढ़ने ही वाला था। और उस समय शिष्य ने अपने गुरु को याद किया। उसने अपनी आंखें बंद करी और बोला, गुरुजी, मुझे क्षमा कर दीजिए। ऐसी गलती मैं दोबारा नहीं करूंगा। काश मैंने आपकी बात सुन ली होती। और जैसे ही उसने अपनी आंखें खोली, उसने देखा भीड़ में गुरुजी खड़े थे। गुरुजी आए शिष्य के पास चुपके से उसके कान में कुछ बोला, फंदा उसके गले से निकाल के अपने गले में डाल लिया और बोले, तुम नहीं, मैं फांसी पे चढ़ूंगा। शिष्य ने वापस फंदा ले लिया और बोला, आप नहीं, मैं चढ़ूंगा। गुरुजी बोले, मैं। शिष्य बोला, मैं। और राजा बोला, है, आप लोग क्यों लड़ रहे हैं फांसी पे चढ़ने के लिए? कोई लड़ता है क्या ऐसे? तो गुरुजी बोले, राजा जी, दरअसल बात ये है, आज ना बड़ा शुभ दिन है। आज के दिन जिसकी मृत्यु होगी वो सीधा स्वर्ग जाएगा। तो आप ही बताइए, शिष्य को जाना चाहिए या गुरु को? ये सुनकर राजा सोच में बैठ गया और तब तक लड़ाई दोबारा शुरू हो गई। गुरुजी बोले, मैं। शिष्य बोला, मैं। भीड़ में एक मंत्री था, वो बोला, मैं। और वहां एक बकरी खड़ रही थी, वो बोली, मैं। और इतना मैं सुन के राजा बोला, रुको, आप लोग नहीं, मैं चढ़ूंगा फांसी पे। और यही बोलकर राजा ने फंदा अपने गले में डाल लिया और लटक गया फांसी पे। और इसी प्रकार एक चौपट राजा अपनी ही मूर्खता की वजह से मारा गया।
That was beautiful, Sarvika.
थैंक यू शौरी।
I think you can see everyone's reaction.
I'm so happy people liked it. Because
Is there
even though
anything you'd
I
like to say?
Hindi at home, it is not my performance language. So it's very difficult for me to perform in Hindi because I'm so used to performing in English. So I'm so glad Ankit, Swati, Jemima, everyone heard me. And even though I think my time exceeded a little, Swati was like, no, go for it. It's so interesting. You don't cut your story, just go for it. So I'm so happy I got this chance and to perform solo. And yeah, I am really glad everybody liked it because I could see people laughing. So yeah, mission accomplished.
And quite honestly, your Hindi, I think it's pretty good. I don't think I could really tell. I was surprised too that you picked Hindi,
A lot
but
of
it was
practice with Swati. She made me write down certain words. कि ऐसे नहीं ऐसे होता है. So yeah, lot of
amazing.
practice. Yeah,
Yeah, we
thank
really
you.
appreciate that challenge, taking this challenge that despite your comfort in English, in Marathi, you actually took the challenge to speak in Hindi and you worked really hard with this script. I think from the first draft to this draft, which must be the 10th or 12th one, it's really good to see the progress in you, Savika, as a teller and in the story. So thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for this work. Are there members in the audience who you know that you want to call names for?
I think my parents are here. One of my friends, Sini, she said, I am busy, but I will only come for you. So she's here. And another friend of mine, Spand, he's in the US. I think it's 3, 4 a.m. for him. He's here. And few more people, if I'm missing you out, I'm on a tablet, so I can't scroll. But yeah, whoever's here, lots of love. I think people have skipped work and classes and lots of things to come here for me. So yeah.
It's really special. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Ankit.
This brings us towards a little break that we all can take for about 3 to 4 minutes. It's 4:44 by my clock. We can come back in 3 to 4 minutes by 4:48, and that's when we can resume the stories and storytelling. Thank you for being here. Come back again. Let's take a few moments to once again settle in. Just reminding the audience that there are two ways for you to organize your screen. On the top right, you'll see an option called View. On the view, you can choose whether you want to hear the performers in a speaker mode, where they'll be highlighted and they'll be big and bold. Otherwise, you can choose a gallery view, where you can see 20 to 25 little screens and people in it. And so, whichever view suits you the more, you can choose that at your end. From our end, we'll be spotlighting people, and whenever they are here and performing, there'll be more attention on them. So, you can choose this view for yourself, and we are also kind of shaping this view from our end. Thank you. We can continue, Komal and Shirley.
Welcome back, everyone, and requesting everyone again to turn on their cameras to support our performers. And our next story is inspired by Chaitanya Tamane's acclaimed film, The Disciple, a moving portrayal of the inner world of an artist devoted to the demanding path of Indian classical music. Please welcome Mohinish, who will bring this deeply reflective journey to life.
Am I audible?
Yes.
सा सा रे ग रे ग प ग प ध नि सा सा नि ध प ध नि ध प म ग म रे सा सुमिरन भज मन राम नाम दे सुमिरन भज मन राम नाम दे जो कछु होवे तेरा बना सुमिरन भज मन सुमिरन भज मन सुमिरन भज मन राम नाम दे आई 2 मिनिट थांब येतो तानपुरा बंद करून येतो मल्हार पिछले 15 सालों से ऐसे ही रियाज करता है रोज बिना चूके 2 से 3 घंटा भारतीय शास्त्रीय संगीत एक ऐसी कला जो खुद को समर्पण और धैर्य सिखाती है जो भीतर जाने का एक रास्ता दिखाती है मल्हार सुबह 5 बजे उठता है उसकी पहली बैठक सुबह 5 से 7 होती है फिर वो नहा धोकर अपने बाबा की पुरानी कैसेट शॉप पे जाता है उसे वहाँ जाना सिर्फ इसलिए पसंद है क्योंकि वो वहाँ पर बड़े उस्तादों और पंडितों की कैसेटें सुन सकता है ऐसी कैसेटें जो बड़े बड़े श्रोताओं के पास भी नहीं है उसे बहुत मज़ा आता है वहाँ पर फिर शाम में वो दुकान बंद करके घर आता है और फिर से 2 घंटे की रियाज की एक बैठक लगाता है और ऐसे उसका दिन खत्म होता है मल्हार पिछले 15 सालों से ये सब कर रहा है जब से वो 10 साल का था पर मल्हार की ज़िंदगी में अब ऐसा सवाल आ रहा है कि वो खुद से बहुत परेशान है परेशान इसलिए भी कि उसके कुछ दोस्त जिसने कुछ गाड़ी खरीद ली है तो किसी ने कुछ बंगला खरीद लिया है तो कहीं कोई विदेश जा चुका है पर मल्हार अब भी संगीत की उस राह पर टिका हुआ है लेकिन अब वो खुद से एक सवाल कर रहा है सवाल ये कि जो मैं कर रहा हूँ क्या वो साधना है या फिर भ्रम मल्हार को कई महीनों से ये सवाल बहुत परेशान कर रहा है एक दफ़े मल्हार किसी बड़े गुरु से मिला उसने पूछा कि गुरुवर ये सवाल है मुझे आप क्या कहेंगे गुरु ने कहा कि तुम इतना रियाज किए हो फिर किस बात की चिंता थोड़ा सब्र रखो तुम्हें जवाब खुद मिल जाएगा पर मल्हार को वो तर्क कुछ समझ नहीं आया वो हताश होकर वापस आ गया फिर अगले कुछ दिनों तक मल्हार ने संगीत की तकनीक से लेकर अध्यात्म तक गूगल पर सब पढ़ डाला पर तब भी उसके मन की उलझन सुलझ नहीं पाई उसने सोचा कि यार क्यों ना कुछ दोस्तों से बात किया जाए खास दोस्तों से उसने उन दोस्तों से पूछा लेकिन वहां भी उसे निराशा ही मिली शायद इसलिए क्योंकि उन दोनों के बीच संगीत की वो भाषा नहीं थी मल्हार अगले कुछ दिनों तक अपनी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी जीता रहा। दरअसल वो भूल गया था कि उसका एक सवाल भी था। वो अब सुबह रियाज करता, दुकान जाता और वापस रियाज करके उसकी जिंदगी चल रही थी। एक दफे उसने सोचा कि क्यों ना घर के पास वाले कुएं के वहां पर जाकर थोड़ा बैठा जाए और थोड़ा संगीत सुना जाए। वो अक्सर ऐसा करता था। वो जब भी उदास होता तो अपना बाबा का पुराना एक डब्बा निकालता, कैसेट भरा, उसमें से एक कैसेट झोले में डालकर कुएं के पास जाकर बैठ जाता था। उसने उस दिन भी वैसा ही किया। कैसेट निकाली, झोले में डालकर कुएं की तरफ ले गया। जैसे ही मल्हार कुएं के पास बैठा और अपना प्लेयर निकाला, कैसेट निकाली, तो कैसेट के ऊपर देखा कि उसके ऊपर लिखा था माई। मल्हार को कुछ समझ नहीं आया। मल्हार को याद नहीं आया कि बाबा ने कभी किसी माई का जिक्र किया था क्या, या फिर उनके बारे में कुछ बताया था क्या। कौतूहल से भरा मल्हार कैसेट निकालता है और प्लेयर में डालकर चला देता है। जैसे ही मल्हार कैसेट चला, शरीर में कंपन महसूस होने लगता है। ऋषी मुनींनी शेकडो वर्ष साधना करून प्राप्त केलेलं हे संगीत असं सहज शिकता येणार नाही। 10 जन्म कमी पडतील। शास्त्रांमध्ये फक्त या रागात पंचम लागतो, या रागात धैवत नाही लागत, एवढंच सांगितलंय का? रागाच्या माध्यमातून परमेश्वरापर्यंत पोचण्याची वाट दाखवली आहे। भारतीय शास्त्रीय संगीताला मार्गी संगीत उगीच नाही म्हणत, आणि तो मार्ग प्राप्त करण्यासाठी त्याग हा करावाच लागणार। जर पैसा कमवायचा असेल, घरदार सांभाळायचं असेल, तर भावगीत गा, फिल्मची गाणी गा, या वाटेवर चालू नका। या वाटेवर चालायचं असेल तर एकटं आणि उपाशी राहायला शिका। अब भी मल्हार के कानों में माई की आवाज गूंज रही थी और कह रही थी कि शास्त्रीय संगीत आसान नहीं है, वो त्याग मांगता है। अगर पैसा कमाना है, परिवार संभालना है तो छोड़ दो। मल्हार का एक सवाल था जिसका वो जवाब ढूंढ रहा था। शायद उससे जवाब मिला या शायद नहीं भी, लेकिन उस दिन के बाद मल्हार की साधना का अर्थ बदल गया। अब जब भी मल्हार रियाज करता है कि माई उसके एकदम पास बैठी है, एकदम उसके सामने। थैंक यू सो मच।
Wow.
I am really, I have no words to say anything, Moinish. It was so touching and beautifully narrated. Beautifully narrated. Thank you so
थैंक
much
यू।
for getting this story.
थैंक यू सो मच।
Moinish, thank you for coming and thank you for, despite the network challenges you faced, you continued the story and I think in your telling, you have kind of redefined the way we imagine stories by picking up a movie and finding a way to tell it into a short story. If you can hear me, I can see your screen a bit frozen, but if you can hear me, um, would you like to tell us anything about this process, about this movie and your love for this story?
मैं ऑडिबल रही ना?
You're audible. Yes. Um, it seems that Mohinish's network has just betrayed him. But we could hear the story, all of the story, I hope. So this story is based on a movie called The Disciple, which is made by Chaitanya Tanmane um, in Marathi, and you're encouraged to see the original work, and we give credit to the original creator for this movie, which has inspired so many of our learners. So thank you for this work, Chaitanya, and also thank you for this work, Mohinish. Um, this process of learning and being obsessed with it, it's very special. um, Being a learner is also very special. I think I would like to take this moment to invite the next performer, who is a learner I've been knowing for many, many years. She's not just a learner, she's also a teacher and also a teacher educator. She comes from Kandahar region of Afghanistan. And some 5, 6 years ago, she was in India for her post graduation at Tata Institute of Social Sciences. And that's when I first met her. And today she's here to present a story. Now she lives and works in a school in Rwanda. And this story is also in an African context. वैसे तो ये कहानी अफ्रीका की है, पर ये कहानी कहीं की भी हो सकती थी। ये कहानी एक गांव की है, एक लड़की की है जिसका स्कूल उसकी पहुंच से बहुत दूर है, लेकिन फिर भी उसके और उसके स्कूल के बीच में उसके सपने हैं। और इन सपनों के साथ साथ एक टीचर है, और इस टीचर के साथ साथ एक साइकिल भी है। तो आइए इन तीनों के रिश्तों को देखते हैं इस कहानी में। महबूबा, we welcome you, and you're ready to begin whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, thank you. Good evening. Um,
A bit louder, Mahbooba.
okay.
Yes, thank you.
In a quiet village in a corner of Africa, surrounded by dusty hills and sorry,
Dusty hills and vast grasslands.
uh, no, I think I opened okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We can take a
In
moment to open the document. Mahbooba, it's okay.
you opened the wrong document, sorry.
We can once again go back to this misty hills and grasslands in a village in Africa.
In a quiet village in corner of Africa, with tall hills and vast grasslands, lived a young girl named Aicha. She was only 10, but her eyes were full of dreams. Every morning she woke up before the sun and began her long way to school. 2 hours each way, without any shoes. Her school was small and barely standing, but for her it was a palace of learning, a place where she felt alive. But soon, tired by this dance, girls in the village began to drop out of school, but not Aita. One day, a guest teacher walked the path himself and realized how tiring it was. He saw the breath and sweat of Aisha. He remembered about a project in India to increase attendance of girls by giving them cycles. He wrote a letter to a charity, and then, like it happens in the stories, within a few months, the first bunch of bicycles arrived. They were old and repaired, but to the girls in the village, they felt like wings allowing them to fly. When Aisha heard about the bicycles, her heart was racing. That week, her steps felt lighter. She answered every question in the class. And the day arrived. The school held a ceremony. Aisha's name was called, and she reached for the bike with her trembling hands. This is for your courage, said her teacher. Aisha touched the handlebars. They felt cold and real, completely hers. That night, under a sky full of the stars, Aisha sat behind her bicycle. She hadn't ridden it, not yet. She whispered, "Tomorrow you and I will fly." And they did fly. And the next morning, the dust rising behind her bicycle's wheels felt like hope itself. Thanks for your attention and listening.
Thank you, Mahbooba. How do you feel?
I feel very exciting. It was my first experience that at first I want to thank from you, especially you and dear Jemima, and you worked with me very well, and I learned a lot of things from this storytelling course, and it's can help with me with my pastoral advisor classes with my girls, and it helped me really and fully. It was very good for my girls when I started practicing the storytelling with them. They were happy and they were more interested into my class. So I saw the result before that. So it's very nice, and I really happy for that. And thank you for everyone, and again from you, Mr. Ankit and Mr. Maima. Thank you a
Thank you,
lot.
Mahbooba. The story and your presence was so genuine, and it lit up the room. So thank you for this. And I think one of the credit for the course also goes to you, because I remember after our short workshop, she wrote a Facebook message to me saying that when is the course happening? When is the storytelling course happening? And for years I just replied, "It'll come again. It'll happen soon." And the moment we could revive the course in this form, I was so glad to invite Mahbooba to join, and I can understand, despite the different ways in which we speak English, she persisted through the session. She was very present in the sessions. She was very participatory, and she made it here for performance, despite actually working today and being between meetings. She has come out of a meeting and she has to go back to a meeting. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mahbooba. Uh,
Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And she is working on a YouTube channel, trying to make more stories for children in Afghanistan. And we would love to support you for that. And we would love to subscribe to that. Please put the YouTube channel on the chat. We would love to follow you.
Thank you so much. You are so kind.
Thank you. Thank you, Nopal. Um, let's take a
Thank
moment
you
to
so much.
move on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mabuba, for sharing your experience, and all the best for your journey. Our next story comes from the timeless wisdom of the Upanishads, simple in words yet profound in meaning. It's called Two Monks and a Woman. Sharing this thought provoking tale with us is Prasanna.
Yeah. Hello, all. This is a short Upanishad story, and it goes like this. Somewhere far from the mainland, there was a dense forest filled with huge long trees and very huge mountains. And in between the mountains, there was a small river that flows by, which sometimes will get higher according to the water level. One day, due to the lot of downpour in the last night, so the river was quite flowing quite a lot. And on top of the mountain, there was a Buddhist monastery where Buddhist monks live. One day, two Buddhist monks, two young Buddhist monks, happened to come down the mountain and they saw the river flowing. And also, they could see there was a small girl who is actually trying to having some difficulty. And the girl, looking at the monks, said, "Can you please help me cross the river?" And the two monks, two young monks, were quite perplexed and they don't know what to do. They saw each of their face as in Buddhist philosophy, it was said to stay away from girls. And here a young girl was asking for help, and he couldn't say no for the help. But also they can't actually be close with the girls. And so they are in this state of perplex. And when there was a older monk who just passed by and understood the situation because of the river, because of the girl flowing, and he just quickly lifted her and made her cross the river. And he kept on the other bank. Also, the two monks followed them, two young monks followed. And after keeping her on the other bank of, he just smiled and said to just take care, and he left. The two monks were very perplexed because they were told not to even talk or have any contact or even come close near the girls, whereas the older monk actually lifted them and keep on the other side. And this young monk uh, couldn't actually keep this in his heart, and he thought about it a lot, and finally couldn't keep his curiosity and went to the older monk and asked, "You said we actually shouldn't keep any contact with the girls, but you actually lifted her and kept her on the other side." And the older monk just looked at the innocence of the younger monk and smiled and said, "Yes, my dear, but I kept her and left her on that day itself. You are keeping still in your head." And that actually made the younger monk realize, okay, so having contact is doesn't mean only physical contact. It's just not having their thought or presence or nothing, not getting influenced by them. So having learned the wisdom, and he quickly followed the older monk and said thank you, and he just left. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prasanna, for the beautiful story. Would you like to share your journey?
Yes. Well, firstly, I think as someone might even sense, I guess I'm very nervous for this performance, as this is my first performance, and I always struggle to actually perform in front of people. And Ankit actually helped me a lot. And I have to say Swati ji or Manisha or Meghna, and huge shout out to Meghna because she's the one who motivated me a lot and to actually ask me to even have a team performance and then to actually, motivate quite a lot of time. So the as many people said earlier also, it's all about the group. Once if you have the right people in the right space, and when the one who is at the top is actually having the right spirit in his heart, so I think everything will follow. And yeah, I think it's sad that it's ending this way, and in this way, in the sense, it's only for a short amount of time. And when it started in the month of February, March, I haven't thought that we'll make this many connections and we'll actually have good bonding. But yeah, the bonding with all of them was very good. Be it Manisha, Vinanti, Shirley, everybody, Swati ji, she actually helped me quite a lot in, taking her time out in the recent days. So thank you all. And I'm happy that I did started at some point of time to say some story. And it's just wonderful to have that feeling. Thank you all.
Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you so much. And this is so humane to feel scared. and so brave of us to actually show up and face that and to accept the vulnerability of being in front of people and still coming here and telling our story. I think there is so much courage and so much um, humanity in what you just did. And I hope in days and months to come, you would look back at this day and will be very proud that you actually did tell a story. So thank you so much, Prasanna, for
Thank
making it happen. Thank you.
you. Shout out to Vinati, Manisha, Meghna, Swatiji, and Ankit, obviously. Thank you all.
Thank you. We could see a deep breath just come out of you the moment your performance was done. That was really good to witness all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, the story and you as a person. Thank you so much, Prasanna. Thank you.
So now we move to the land of spirits and perpetual winds, deep within the jungles of the majestic Garo Hills in Meghalaya, comes a haunting folk tale of a little girl, final journey, an unforgettable passage into the afterlife. The name of the story is Kimbe in Balpakram by Jemima. Over to you, Jemima.
Away, away, away. Away. Sankambe's Ambi, her grandmother, in the form of an ajaya, which is the funeral dirge of the Garos, people from the region that was just mentioned, the Garo Hills of Meghalaya. The ajaya was about how Kumbi was born with the first rays of the sun, how she knew all her mother's songs and the flowers in the field, how she ran with the wind and spoke with the animals. Today, her cow leads her to the Dakat Panalsa, the great beyond. Now, in the bedroom, Kumbi hovered above the air. She was confused and weightless. She looked around, suspended between the world that she had known her whole life, her whole 6 years. And she was in between that world that she was about to enter. As she looked around, she saw herself, and there she was, unmoving, lying on the bed. And she could see her mother, her father, her siblings, they were all crying. And the house was full, too full. She saw her uncles, her aunts, her classmates from her school, her friends, um, the ones with whom she would herd animals with in the field. They were all there, they were all crying, there were murmurs, there was ritual, and there was grief. She didn't feel the pain anymore. And she looked around and she said, I feel so light. I wonder where I am. What's going on? And as she looked around, trying to understand what was happening to her, her eyes found her Ambi, her grandmother, a voice she recognized so well and loved as much. The voice of stories, the keeper of law, singing the Ajaya, her story through a funeral dirge. And that's when Kambir realized, with the quiet clarity of a soul in passing, ah, so this may be the last time I might see them. This is just like the time um, that was when grandfather passed. And with that, Kumbhi's spirit floated to the sacrificial altar of their little village. Her father solemnly stood at the altar, leading the calf to the sacred place. Machu, the calf, was Kumbhi's constant companion with whom she had spent many mornings listening to the songs of the birds and laze around in the field in the afternoons. The calf, too, had been chosen to accompany Kumbhi into the afterlife.
Sad, with a heavy heart, the father whispered to the animal, "Lead my daughter to the Balgutta Nalsa. Thank you for being her companion," he said. And with that, the world shifted. Now Kumbe and Machu, they found themselves elsewhere in a land that shimmered with silence, and then there was wind. It was soft, it was eternal, and it came alive with brilliant colors and sounds suddenly. And there were birds. And then it all made sense. She could see her grandmother's stories in color. And she remembered, and she said, I think I know this place. It looks like Balpatram, the land of spirits. Would it be Balpatram, Machu? She asked. The cow nodded and agreed. And then a breeze slowly stirred the canopy of impossible trees, and then suddenly there were strange birds singing in the air. You know, she had heard about these birds only in stories that her grandmother would tell her. And these birds, they called to her. Come, they beckoned. And so Kumbe followed them into this beautiful opening in the woods. And there was Chidmak. Chi being pool and Dipmak meaning ash, the sacred pool where the spirits release their ashes. Come, wash away the echoes of the earthly form, the waters called. And the calf moved in gentle agreement. And so Kumbe stepped into the pool with reverence, letting the ashes of her mortal shell drift away into the currents of the spirit world. And from there she emerged new and luminous. Then again, the birds led her to this beautiful other space, circling higher and higher until they came to a tall, very solemn, majestic looking tree. And they looked up. Oh, this must be the Machu Bolda Karam. So let me tell you about the Machu Bolda Karam. In the Balpakram National Park, there is this special tree that has mysteriously acquired a depression in its trunk. Okay? As if it is weathered and worn by ropes that have been tied around it. It is believed that the spirits tether their animals that have been sacrificed during the rituals of the funeral rites. So now this tree, coming back to our story, this tree was older than memory, and its trunk worn by generations of rope and ritual. You are right, little one, the tree said, as she wondered if this was that tree. Its voice deep as the earth. Come, tie your companion to my trunk, as all others have done before you. And with that, Kumbe brought her calf to the tree and pressed her forehead against the calf. Thank you, Machu, she whispered again. You have been the best friend I could ever ask for. As she feathered him gently, she said her goodbye to it. And the cow moved as if to say goodbye. The tree gently swayed, understanding that they needed their moment together. Now go along, little one. And so with that, she closed her eyes, then they stepped forward, and then entered the embrace of the great beyond, the Dalgappa the time dissolved, and the spirits slept in peace. Back in the early realm, in the village, where the fire burnt quietly, its smoke curling up to the skies and whispering Kumbe's stories to the stars. Although she was gone, she would never be forgotten. And as Ambi's Ajaya continued in the background, Oh, well,
Thank you, Jemima. She's not just the teller of this story, she's also the creator of stories. So, can you tell us a little about um, this story?
Okay. It broke my heart actually when I first wrote it. I remember thinking that I should, you know, it should be an older person because they have lived a full life, and it made sense to say goodbye. And it did not feel so heavy to say goodbye to somebody, who's lived a full life. But then I also wanted to present the afterlife as not something to be feared, but to be seen as something, as an adventure of sorts. And who can look at the world or the afterworld, the supernatural world, as an adventure better than a child? So it had to be conveyed because with her free spirit, with her wild spirit, always roaming around in the woods and in the field with her cows, talking to the animals and the birds, she was the perfect person to introduce us, to take us with her to her journey into the afterlife. And I think the story about Balpakram, I mean, there are books written about Balpakram, the elements of folklore and spirits. There's a ghost market even. It's very interesting. They say that the spirits, the Garos believe that when they die, they go to the Balpakram. Their spirits go to the Balpakram, and they live there. And there is even a place called the Ghost Market, where there are footprints, where the people who have trekked to that place have found footprints and paw prints, hoof prints, sometimes imprints of heavy, structures that might have been, but not a single tangible physical sign. So things like that and stories like that make the Balpakram, a lovely kind of inspiration for all our imagination to come alive. Um, and I think so. I wanted to pick the interesting elements, like for example, even the tree. I think it's called the Shima Wali. Uh, I don't know the correct pronunciation of it because that's the Latin, the scientific name for that tree. But it does exist. The tree with the depression in the middle in the trunk. And the stories, the lores that are created around it. So I picked these elements to go with the storytelling and for Convey to take us through that and show that to us in person.
And how do you feel now that the story is out of you and shared with the world?
I felt like I just came back from Balpakram.
Thank you. Thank you so
Um,
much, Jemima. There are many of your friends and perhaps your students who are also here in the session. Um, so if you want to
yeah.
name anybody, you're very free to.
Oh, I mean, honestly, there are so many of you because I've been so closely involved in interacting with all of you also. But since this might be the last time that I might see some of you, I want to take the time to say thank you to each one of you. To name you, one by one is going to be difficult because I think I had an individual connect and friendship with so many of you, whether it was a 10-minute conversation or an hour or two, or sometimes in the last minute, like Mehbooba, a few hours before before the performance began. But I think in each of these moments, the journey has been so special. I got to get a glimpse of your souls. your kindness, your generosity, and your creativity. I think even your nervousness. It was just so wholesome. Everything is so, as Ankit had said earlier, so human, so humane. And thank you all for all the love that I've received from each one of you. Thank you, Ankit, for this very special platform, for this very special community. And of course, Swati, who's been my queen throughout, always encouraging me and always putting me through. And yes, I think there's so many, too many to name. I think I'll leave it here. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
I think from you and your story, one thing that is coming to us is magic. So we'll now slowly start to move towards our next story, which has some bit of magic, some bit of reality, and a hell lot of fascination. Let us slowly go into a fairy tale. And let me invite Shirley or Komal to introduce our next group. Thank you so much, Jemima.
Thank you, Ankit, and thank you so much, Jemima. When you think of fairy tales, what comes to mind? Cinderella in glass slippers, Rapunzel with her long hair, Snow White with skin as white as snow. Well, today, get ready for something a little different. Our final story features a princess, but with a twist. Let's welcome Meghna, Paridhi, and Rashmi with The Paperback Princess.
We can start whenever you're ready.
Once upon a time, when time didn't walk straight, it jumped, it wobbled and jiggled like a jellyfish. There was a kingdom. Tall mountains, towering trees, breezy little streams, silver waterfalls, and right in the middle, a big, majestic castle. Now, everything seemed normal, but nothing really was. You know the butterflies? Ting, 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 frrrr. They weren't butterflies. They were fairies in disguise. And the dragonflies? They were tiny unmanned drones going brrr, brrr, protecting the kingdom from all sorts of harm. And not just them. Oh, look there, the bees. The grass. They were all part of the army. And at the heart of it all was the most beautiful princess, Princess Elizabeth. She had fire in her heart. She had stars in her hair, but she didn't really care how she looked. She danced barefoot in the rain. She climbed castle walls when no one was looking. Ah, wasn't she lovely? And yes, she was in love. Head over heels in love with her prince, Prince Ronald. And this prince, he was just perfect. Handsome, dashing, perfect hair that somehow never misbehaved, polished shoes. He was everything Elizabeth wasn't. But then opposites attract, don't they? Ronald pampered her with the most expensive gowns and dresses. He admired her every single day. And so one breezy evening, when Ronald and Elizabeth were walking in the garden, hand in hand, Elizabeth twirled. I love to dance dilly dilly, I love to sing. I shall be queen dilly dilly when you'll be king. The wind stopped. Ronald stopped. He knelt down. He took a deep breath, and with his heart pounding, he looked into the tender eyes of his love and said, Elizabeth, Will you marry me? And she jumped in joy and said, yes, yes, yes. And not just her, the bees and the butterflies shouted, yes. The trees whispered, yes. It was as if the whole kingdom was waiting for this one big moment. And so a grand wedding was held. Elizabeth walked down the aisle, glowing like a star. Everybody's eyes, just like yours, was glued to hers. But she had eyes only and only for her prince. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. You shall be king, dilly dilly, when I'll be queen. You are my love, dilly dilly, come night or day. We shall be safe, dilly dilly, out of harm's way. It was the perfect moment. But was it really? Elizabeth was very quick to notice that something was not quite right. And in fact, Ronald was not smiling anymore. He was shaking from head to toe, and he pointed a finger and said, Elizabeth. And then she heard it. Ah! A deafening roar shook the sky. Into smoke. The sky turned orange and then red. Dragon! A huge, terrifying, fire-breathing dragon! And before anybody could do anything about it, the dragon swooped down, smashed the castle, burnt Elizabeth's clothes, and with one big claw, scooped Prince Ronald and whoosh, vanished into thin air. The music stopped. The dragonflies were no match for this dragon. And Elizabeth? She couldn't believe what had just happened. Frantically, she looked around for something to wear. But the only thing she could find that wasn't burnt was a small brown paper bag. She quickly put it on, and even in that chaos, she took a deep breath and said, I am going to get my prince back. I am going after that dragon.
It wasn't hard to track the dragon. He had left behind a trail of destruction, burned trees, and bones. So Elizabeth walked and walked and walked. And after she had walked for hours and hours and hours, finally, in the distance, she saw a cave. As she walked closer, she saw a door. She saw a knocker. So she ran towards it. She grabbed the knocker and she shouted, feisty dragon, bang, bang, bang. Door opened. Dragon's nose picked out. A princess. I love to eat princesses, but I am a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow. And with that, the dragon slammed the door shut so hard, Elizabeth's nose almost got pressed. But she grabbed the knocker again and she went, feisty dragon, bang, bang, bang. And once again, the door opened, the nose poked out, and he said, a princess. I love to eat princesses, but I am a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow. And just as he was about to slam the door shut again, she said, wait, dragon, is it true that you are the fiercest dragon in the whole world? Dragon was surprised. This was a very rare piece of appreciation. Yes. Is it true that you can burn down 100 forests in just one fiery breath? Yes. So the dragon took a huge breath. And just like that, he had burned down 100 forests. Wow, dragon, wow! Can you do it again? That was so wonderful, dragon. Can you do it again? So this time, the dragon took an even bigger breath. And he had burned not one, not two, not three, but 500 forests. Dragon, that was so amazing, dragon. Can you do it one more time? Just one more time, please. So dragon, he took another breath. He was out of fire. He could just cough and cough and cough. He couldn't do anything anymore. Dragon, is it true that you can go around the entire world in just 10 seconds? Well, yeah. Can you do it, dragon? Please, please, please. Can you do it, dragon? Please. The dragon, he spread his wings wide and he went around the world, whoosh, like a drunken comet. And when he got back in 10 seconds, dragon, that was so amazing, dragon. You were so amazing. Can you do it just one more time? Just one, please. And so the dragon spread his wings again and he went around the entire world one more time. And when he got back, this time it had taken him 20 seconds. He returned and he just fell down on the ground with a loud thump. Elizabeth, very slowly and very quietly, walked towards the dragon. She lifted the dragon's ear and she whispered, "Hey, dragon!" And the dragon did not move. So this time she shouted a little louder, "Hey, dragon!" And the dragon still did not move. So she gathered all her courage and she shouted as loud as she could, "Hey, dragon!" The dragon still did not move. He had fallen fast asleep. The princess quietly stepped across the dragon. Looked behind, the dragon was fast asleep. And she saw a huge cave door. And she pushed, but it didn't budge. She took a deep breath. She pushed. The cave door opened, and in the darkness, amidst the flickering torchlights, she could see gold coins, ornaments glittering, bones, and flesh. She was sad. She couldn't see her prince. And she looked and looked, and far in the corner, she saw her prince. She was excited. She was happy. My prince, my prince. And she ran to him. Prince, it's me. No, I don't believe this. Is that you, princess? Yes, it's me, Princess Elizabeth. But you are messy. You smell like ashes. Your hair is tangled. And what is this? You're wearing a paper bag? Go and come back dressed like a real princess. The princess looked. Yes, Mr. Prince, my prince, you look so handsome. Your hair is neat. You smell like lavender. and you are really a real prince. But you know what? You are a bum. And with this, just as fairy tales said, they don't get married after all.
Man, you guys killed it. That was amazing. I've seen this group's journey personally, so I know that they've come a long, long, long way, and it's really beautiful to see the way you all performed. It's amazing, and I know you all have a lot to say. And first of all, Meghna, to start with you, what was your reason to choose the story and also your journey?
Yeah. So I read this story long back and I fell in love with the story mainly because of the character, Elizabeth. So she's wacky and she's not the usual kind of princess. So she was the character that I identified with because I feel somewhere like, that madness is there in me too. So that was there. And also, I think the story is a beautiful reminder that no matter what the situation, the choice lies in our hands. Like, we decide what to do no matter what the situation is. So whether it's a dragon, tearing your life apart or anything else happening, I think ultimately the choice lies with us. And also, I've been a sort of a person who finds it hard to say no. And when I remember this story, the way the princess actually said a no in the end makes me realize that if we know somewhere our own worth, and we know what our priorities are in life, it becomes easier to say a no to something that doesn't align with what we are or what we want to do. So all these things, I think, somehow came together, and that's why I love this story so much. And I'm so glad that Paridhi loved this story when I shared this with her. I was so happy. And when I shared this with Rashmi, I was even more happy because subconsciously, so I thought that Paridhi and I, we are yet to get married. We're not married yet. So we're like, okay, we'll relate to this story. But then Rashmi came in and she was like, मुझे पहले क्यों नहीं बताई ये story, कुछ भला हो जाता मेरा. Like, she was like that. And she was like, oh, then she was on board, and the three of us. Oh, by the way, Rashmi, I hope your husband's not.
Yes, he's there. He's there.
Oh, he's there. Oh my God, I'm sorry. So, so there, I think our journey, it's been a roller coaster ride, to be honest. A collaboration is not easy. And I'd be very honest. So we had our ups and downs, there were times when someone was available, someone was not available, someone was sick, someone was, so all of these ups and downs we went through. But I really want to thank Paridhi and Rashmi both. Paridhi cancelled her trip to make sure that we practiced consistently. And I'm just so proud of this girl. It's been beautiful, telling this story with her, practicing it all. And then Rashmi got in all the fun angles, and you wouldn't believe earlier we put a lot of Bollywood songs in this story, okay? And it was crap. Like if I tell you the kind of songs we tried to put in the story, Ankita knows it. I don't want to go there, okay? So we went through a lot of drafts. So the way a story is written is very different from how it's spoken. So that was the challenge. And for me, especially bringing the beginning part alive in a way that, it could be told effectively, I did struggle. And so cutting, editing was the challenge for me. But I think Ankita has been very patient, and Swati and Jemima and everybody in this community. I think my friends and buddies. Oh my God. I told this story to so many of you already before the performance today. I think each one of you has helped shape this story, how, it's come out. So I'm just, from the bottom of my heart, very, very grateful to each one of you. And I'll just take maybe 5 seconds more. My family is here. My mom. It's a very emotional time for me because I've seen my mom perform today, and I've performed today, and my father's here, and it's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, and Nana, and he's my father. So he was the first person to read, I think, Ankit's PhD thesis. So I'm aspiring to do a PhD, and so I asked Ankit sir to share his thesis with me, and he shared the thesis, and I shared it immediately with my father. And 2 days later, we had the hard copies in hand. And 2 weeks later, I realized, so we had a race, my father and I, who's going to read the thesis first. In 2 weeks, he's finished reading the thesis, and I'm on the acknowledgements page. So that's how he's been also very engaged in this whole storytelling journey. My mom's been there, my sister's there, my cousins are there, my friends. So many of my friends are there. I can see Meenu ma'am over there, and many more. I'm not able to see, but then they all are here, and I think it means so much. So thank you all. It's been beautiful.
Paridi, I'm sure you have lots to say as well. And your performance
Oh,
was like
yes.
amazing.
Thank you. So I said a lot the last time I performed. Like some of you might know, this performance was supposed to happen the previous time on 31st and 1st. And because of something or the other, we pushed it. And as a lot of people said, it was worth the wait. So I'm glad. And yeah, so the reason to join this course was to incorporate stories more in my classroom because I have seen my students not quite enjoying the textbook stories. So I thought, let's make it more fun. Let's make classroom management more fun. Let's make everything a lot more fun. Why not bring magic into everything? That's how it started. But um, now that I'm here, I think I have learned a lot more about myself and what I want to do with stories, what I don't want to do, what I like, what I don't like. And yeah, like Meghna said, this particular group has been a journey in itself. Something happening, not happening, someone is there, someone is not there, from early morning practices to late night practices to afternoon practices. And like she said, so many drafts. Like if I look back on the first draft of the story, where we are now, it's yeah, it's a huge transition. And I think that's the point, the whole crafting of the story in itself, this story and the other story I presented, which had a lot lesser time for me. But yeah, that's what learning is, right? So I feel a lot more confident, which again is the point, that now that I've done this, I can do it again and again and again with different audience, smaller, younger audience, and maybe adults, and maybe in a physical setting, maybe in an online setting again. So yeah, I would like to thank all the mentors, Ankit sir, Jemima, Dr. Swati, and of course Meghna and Rashmi, and all the people who helped give their opinion and share their feedback. And that's how the story changed over the last 1.5 month. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Paridi. Rashmi, would you like to say something? Your performance in the end was amazing.
I think my colleagues have already said it. So only some thing that I felt doing this course has evolved my way of thinking stories. We used to first just read stories, but now remembering the bones, the flesh, and crafting it. So the drafting really actually taught us that, what you think cannot be on the page. or rather reverse. Whatever is on the page cannot be what you can think. It should be what Ankit sir said, that what your thoughts are should be written and then demonstrated. So I felt I could connect to that part strongly. So even though they used to tell me practice, 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 but then I felt the more I practice, the story would go into a different version. So, and they know the bum used to become butt or snob. And I had to literally write bum the laptop to remember, okay, it is bum. So a very touching journey the last 3 months. I surely want to take this ahead, and let's see, hope what best we can do with this three as a team. We have decided to craft more stories, and hoping that Ankit sir will be the audience. So thank you so much, all the mentoring, Swati, Nandini, Ratna, Ankit sir, and as well as Meghna and Paridhi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Meghna, Paridhi, and Rashmi. You have worked really hard and worked really strong on this fairy tale. A fairy tale is not easy to tell. To create a world of fancy and to live in it for weeks, I think it takes a lot of effort, and you guys have done it. So, congratulations for that, Meghna, Paridhi, and Rashmi. And the evening is not over yet, even though this is one of the last stories. We have a little story left with us. So, may I now invite Jemima, who's here to read a little story as a way to celebrate this day, this Father's Day, and perhaps also just say a way of goodbye. So, over to you, Jemima.
Thank you, Ankit. And a very happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the audience. And even for the fathers to be, also, future happy Father's Day. And for the single women, the single mothers in the audience, you have had to play both the mother's and the father's role in your children's lives. And for that, also the strength that you've displayed. So happy Father's Day to you too, for the strength and the love that you show. This little piece that I had written is called Love That Tastes Like Onion. This is to celebrate the love and the kindness and the sacrifice of our parents. And it is a little bit about my dad, the kindness that he had, and a lot about my friend's mum, the love and the sacrifice that she had. So without much further ado, let me read the story to you. Love that tastes like onion. Most onions make us cry, but this particular one makes me smile every time. I must have been about 5 or 6. We lived in Karbi Anglong, Assam at that time. One day, we were done with school for that particular day, and I followed my classmate home without telling my parents. She lived in a house surrounded by trees, and for the little monkeys like us, it was heaven. We swung from branch to branch, and then after a little while, Auntie called us in for lunch. We were still giggling, and in a playful mode, we ran to the house. We washed our little hands, and then we sat on the floor to eat. And Auntie placed 2 plates of rice and an onion each, with a little salt on the side. Famished from all the monkeying around, we cleaned out our plates. And post-lunch, Auntie sent me home, since my parents were most likely looking for me as we said our goodbyes, and then I left. Now, back at home, my parents were indeed worried, and I was properly interrogated about my whereabouts. So I told them that my friend had asked me to come home with her. to play. And there I had a tasty lunch of rice and raw onion. Now, my dad looked at me very thoughtfully. So he sat me down and he put me on his lap. And then he gently told me something that I've never forgotten to this day. He said, "My child, what your auntie has given you was most likely her own lunch. Had we known you were going over to their house, we would have sent a small gift of vegetables from the garden." Now, I don't remember appreciating the weight of my father's words, maybe because I was too young, but also maybe because all I could remember was Auntie's beautiful smile as she served two blissful girls their happy meal. So, if anybody asks me what love tastes like, I will tell them that it tastes like onion. This story is so special and so dear to my heart, also because I lost my dad 4 years ago during the second wave of COVID. But um, it's not a sad story. I remember so many happy memories of him, and this particular one stood out because of his kindness. And I think with that, this community, one of the fuels of this community of storytellers that we have is the kindness in our hearts and the generosity with our time that we have given to one another, we have shown to one another. There's so much of love and patience. If in this world we could take or give one thing, I wish that we will always choose kindness. There are so many beautiful stories that we have heard, so many ways in which to tell these beautiful stories that we have learned from our teacher and now our friend Ankit, and also from one another. And this is what we have come together to put this small little performance or a showcasing of the love in which Ankit has taught us, with all the patience, with all the, sometimes frustrated, frustrated because we were all very, very passionate and very excited. But in our excitement, sometimes we needed somebody to bring us back home, somebody to bring back us into a state of calm and peace and structure. And we did just that. So I really want to say that this is a beautiful space, a safe space, not just for the people here, but also for those who might be looking for spaces like this to look for, where you have stories that you might want to learn how to craft better, how to tell better. I encourage anybody who has not signed up or would be interested in signing up to kindly do so. It's a journey that you're not going to forget. I think you've seen everybody's, their testimonies also about their own journey. And if you have been with us to witness these testimonies, we invite you as a community to join us, to join this beautiful, beautiful community of storytellers. And something that from the group that we discuss often, in a world that is driven by AI, by the artificial intelligence, computers, processes, systems, it is the storytellers that keep us human. It is the storytellers that keep us empathetic to one another and will always be the light in every room that we are placed in. With these words, I would like to thank each one of you, and back to the hosts.
I think it's a little hard for us to accept, but this is perhaps the end of the evening. and also the end of this long journey that we embarked on. We called ourselves a ship of fools because we really wanted to experiment and play with this thing that we call stories and storytelling. And I think with the kind of space we created, I think we did create something quite magical, something quite full of love. And, you know, the way our constitution is given to ourselves, I think this is also a moment that we can give to ourselves. I think we can all take pride in something we have done in the last 3 4 months, with the work we did with ourselves and with this community. So I congratulate all of us and kind of declare us as being and becoming storytellers. This is very special. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. If any member of the audience would like to speak, we are very encouraged to hear them. I would also take a moment to thank people who really inspired us and enabled this course for us. The first person I would like to name is Professor Padma Sarangapani, who's been very phenomenal in her support for this course, and my own teachers, Roy, Karmeet, and many others who have shaped this course, many teachers of Chhattisgarh from whom this course was borrowed, and so many of people, learners and storytellers who have joined us in this journey. I would like to thank you all. And platform is open for others to share.
I would like to say a few words. Hello.
Yes, please do. We can hear you.
Yeah. So the password to the Zoom link you have shared is magic. Okay, I think that's the heart and soul of today's presentation, magical realism. I remember having read Gabriel Garcia Marquez' Hundred Years of Solitude. Now the tenor of your community is 100 years of enjoying the beauty of socialized expression. In fact, I have not known how beautiful my wife and daughter are. Where the expressions I saw in them today gives me a new sense of what is emergent in them. Also, the other people who shared, who presented here and all, I think human beings come out very beautiful when they are expressing, not just writing, more than writing, the speaking expression with body language aligned with the feelings. That makes life so beautiful to enjoy. So I am very grateful to you. I have heard the sounds of Sri Lanka and my wife for the last 1 month or more than 1 month, and it's really wonderful. Thank you.
I also want to thank many members of the storytelling course who could not present the stories for many personal and family reasons. I can see many of the faces here. Samareen is here, Lata is here, so many others are here. And I really look forward to the day when we can also see you perform. We are right here and we are really waiting for you to also take your time and bring back your stories. So, really, thank you for being with us so generously in this journey. And not telling a story can be very hard on this day when your peers are telling a story. But thank you for being there and being there for them. I think that is the spirit of community that we talk about, of not just telling, standing and leading, but also sitting and listening and being there for each other, having each other's back. So thank you for that. Thank you for being the spine of this community that we take so much pride in. Any other members of the audience or even the storytellers who are here? I think we can take some moments to speak, each one of us, a few of us.
I'd like to share something. So, I think I shared this before. I don't remember in this group or somewhere. So, as a teacher, you think that you can speak and you can speak very easily in front of so many people. But as a storyteller, I could not. And Swati Akka, she sat through every, line of my story, every emotion of my story. And she helped. And she helped me. Though she left us a year ago, उन्होंने अपनी परछाई छोड़ी हुई है मेरे घर पे और उनकी परछाई मेरा सारा नहीं छोड़ती. And the whole day, 2 days, my daughter was like, Swati Akka taught us this, Swati Akka taught us that. Swati Akka said, first you have to feel the story. I was like, वो तो चली गई. पर वो यही है. But Swati Akka, seriously, and as my senior, she just sat through every emotion. So thank you. So thank you so much for being there. And thank you, Ankit, for connecting all of us together. So, it's like we all were beads and you strung us in a thread. So, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Sunanda, you can speak.
Yeah, I had to leave and then I came back as quickly as I could. Okay. So there are a couple of things I just want to say. One is now, because I'm looking at everything through the lens of stories, every time I see something happening, I think, oh, there's a story there. Because it's not just that it's a story, the story is like as if you're, it's like a microscope or maybe a whatever, a kind of portal through which you see the depths of human nature in some sense, right? And so you see something small happening. I mean, you would have not thought about it earlier, but now you think, oh my God, that shows so much courage. And then if you share that story, that will evoke courage in somebody else, right? So, I mean, there are so many thoughts going through my head. I don't know if I'm able to share it, but thank you for everything.
We'll also take a moment to thank our hosts for the day, Shirley and Komal. We can both take some moments to speak as well.
Thank you so much, Ankit. First of all, I'm not a teacher. So this was very new for me. The reasons for me to join, they were very different. And I was mostly looking for something where I had like loss of identity because I moved countries. So I was trying to find myself. And of course, a lot of things happened on the side. But there is like a bit of a realization that happened while I was doing this because, when you're constantly in a certain type of setup, you start to think very differently. Then everything, like when you craft stories, like when marketers craft stories, it ends with a price tag, and nobody just says stories just for saying it. So I wrote something. I'm just going to take like less than, I think, a minute. So I'll quickly read that out. But I wrote this at like 2 in the morning. So this is not for Ankit or for anybody. This is for all of you. So I'll just read it quickly. What Ankit has started here is more than a workshop. It's a movement rooted in the belief that stories can shift minds, challenge systems, and spark real change. This isn't just about performance. You're being equipped to disrupt, to influence, to lead. And as teachers, you've always been the original influencers. You shape how people think, how they feel, and how they see the world. Because in a world full of noise, hate, and misinformation, the right story told with the right intention can cut through and bring light. And this is a line from one of my favorite TV shows. I think you probably know it. It's from Game of Thrones. one of the characters, Tyrion Lannister, he says this: there's nothing in the world more powerful than a good story. So let's keep telling the ones that matter. Thank you. Over to you, Komal.
Actually, looking everybody perform today, I felt like I would love to tell a story. I would have been on the other side. I wanted to tell a story. Uh, the journey has been very amazing. Like, as a teacher, I know how powerful the stories are, and I've seen the magic of stories in class. Like, it changes something within the soul. So, I am a very big believer of stories. But whenever I could not tell a story. I was really underconfident, and I did not know how to tell a story. But I am very proud of myself right now that, with this academic year, I will be telling stories. So that's going to be thank you everyone here.
Shureka?
Yeah. Ankit, I don't have words to thank you. This is the second program I have attended and my first performance, I think. I am thrilled. I am now a little more confident. And I have been given a lot of instructions by my team members, especially my team leader, Madhushri. She has said, no, Shri, you are not stopping here. You are taking it forward. So, and she has also gone and told my head of school that I have enrolled. So I have to do something. I'll come back to you and to Swati ji for mentoring. I I never knew I could do this. I really never knew I could do this. It's it's all, you know, the good wishes, the positive vibes that I have got from everyone. I'm tongue tied. I'm not able to speak much.
Thank you, Shilekha. It's also a reminder that even though this part of the journey ends here, we are actually going to stay connected and make some projects and take them to the world. I have envisaged a lot of projects. I really look forward to professionals being more passionate and professionals, teachers actually doing the research based on what they already know, where they work, their knowledge about children, their knowledge about their own work. I think it's time we give them the status of research. I'm really looking forward to teachers actually connecting other teachers and making such communities wherever they are. I also look forward to many of you taking up storytelling as a side hustle and perhaps make an income with it. Take your stories to public and perhaps do some shows on your own now that you have been through this process of making a poster and getting an audience and performing and practicing. So I really look forward to that. And a big hope for me is also volunteering. Last year, we started an initiative that could not sustain itself after a point, which was to encourage people to volunteer using storytelling. But one thing which really lacked there was um, being able to create a learning space. So we encourage people to volunteer, but we realize that the volunteering they're doing is not as valuable if they're not working on the stories that need to go. They need to empathize more with children and with grown-ups, and hence we had to stop it last year and we had to wait one long year to craft this and bring this in this form so that we can encourage more people to volunteer and tell stories in any of the institutions, orphanages and hospitals, in prisons, in schools, in colleges, in any group that you can see around you, with elderly people, with young people, with adolescents. So I really encourage at least a third of you to take up volunteering, and I'm looking forward to a long career you're gonna have in volunteering, and I can almost foresee it the way we could foresee this performance, a month ago. So really hoping for that, for you to carry this light with you and also take it to communities where it's needed even more. So thank you so much. I think we have kind of fulfilled the purpose with which we began this course, and I The rest of it will be fulfilled when you actually go up to the schools and the communities and tell them stories. Um, there's no easy way to end gatherings and journey. So I think formally I would like to end this by thanking you all for being here, for witnessing our stories, encouraging people around you to also tell stories. And if they need support, then they can come to courses like these. There are many such courses. They can join anyone. In fact, we don't even need the courses. We know how to tell stories. We just need like a community to practice with. That's what this course is more about. Of course, you learn a bit from me demonstrating some of the stories, but essentially what you get in what I offer is also this sense of community, people coming together and learning from each other. And you can get it anywhere else as well. But please do, because we really need stories in this world, which is isolating us so much. We all want to be with people. We all want to come to such gatherings, and there are not enough such gatherings. There are not enough such places to feel such love. So there's no magic given in the world. The magic we need is the magic we have to create. So, this is my wish for you, that wherever you go, you will create magic with the stories and community. These two things I know are quite magical, the story and community. And I hope you will spread this wherever you go. With this wish, I declare all of us graduates in storytelling, and let's celebrate this evening and this togetherness, this community. Um, and I can formally declare this evening closed.